Hi guys, welcome to another Road Pilgrim car review. Thank you so much for joining me, and today we have the Toyota Sienta Hybrid on review. And this is probably one of the most cost-effective ways to actually carry a large number of passengers. So you can carry 6 to 7 passengers in this depending on how large the people are. But this sits within Cat A COE, so it is considered sort of like a compact MPV. And it's one of the few remaining cars in Singapore that can do something like that. So we are going to review the car today, and we're going to take a look at its cabin in great detail, show you all the little bits of storage compartments, all the little practicalities that exist in this car, and of course we're going to go take it for a drive as well. It also happens to be one of the most efficient cars on the market, so we'll speak a little bit about that. But before we go there, let's check out the exterior and talk a little bit about how the car looks like. Alright, let's go. Okay, so this is the exterior of the Toyota Sienta Hybrid, and as you can hear, the engine has just kicked in. But aside from that, you can see that this car is actually a lot more quirky looking than its predecessor. I'm not going to comment about whether or not this is a better looking car or not, because honestly, those things are very personal, and I think everybody has their own preferences. But what I can say is that it definitely looks a lot more modern, especially if you look at tiny details like the finishing on the tail lamps, and of course how they display their model names, like the Sienta is actually here right now instead of a plug. So I think that looks a lot more modern. In this particular test car, it also comes as the two-tone option. So there is an option for you to get the regular car, which is single coloured, but I think this one looks a lot more contemporary. As you can see, there's also a nice big Sienta on the cladding. Once again, making it look quite modern. I'll show you the front. There's also another Sienta on the bumper. Probably can't see that, let me bring it closer. There we go. And this is the front appearance of the car. So I think the car looks actually very young, very quirky, but at the same time, I don't feel like it has this tiny tendency to maybe look a bit like a commercial vehicle. I'm not sure what you think. What do you guys think? Whereas the predecessor looked a lot more like a mini MPV. I think there was no question about that. So I guess in a nutshell, I find that this car looks younger, more approachable, more cool, but maybe looks a bit like a commercial vehicle. I could be wrong there. Let me know what you think in the comments, yeah? Alright, so now let's go jump into the... Oh wait, before we jump into the inside, I need to show you the boot. So here is the rear of the car. The height clearance is actually not too high. So if you're like a smaller size person, like if you're like 160 cm tall or something like that, you actually wouldn't have too much difficulty reaching the handles. So that's actually a real plus point. And then of course you've got your additional seats at the back. So I've actually put one of the seats down so that you can better visualize what it looks like. This is with the seat up. You've got this amount of leg room, so not a lot, but definitely a small child, like a toddler or a premier or 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid would do fine just there. And then of course this is with the seat down, and then this is the difference in the boot space with the seats up. So you've only got this panel, and with the seats down, you've got definitely a lot more storage space. Alright, so let's go check out the inside of the car and move on from there. Alright guys, so this is the cabin of the Sienta Hybrid, and I've decided to film it a little bit differently today because there are a lot of little bits of features and storage spaces that I want to show you, and it's pretty hard to show you from our usual angle. So to get things started, I think any of you who have actually seen the previous generation of the Sienta, you will remember a slightly undesirable cabin, but this one is a lot better. Look at it, so much more modern, so much more cute. I think the biggest improvement is actually the drive selector, which used to be this weird tall piece with a very unsightly chrome body. This drive-by-wire system is so much cuter, so much more neat. Looks a lot more modern. But okay, so let's keep focus here. In front of you, you have a digital driver's display, as you can see, and you can actually toggle some of the menus as well, and they show you different things relating to your fuel economy and your EV driving ratio, so that's pretty cool. As you can see from the multi-function steering wheel, there's actually a whole suite of adaptive cruise control features as well, which I think in this segment, in this price point, that's actually pretty remarkable, because it definitely is a feature that usually you see on much higher end cars. Up front, interestingly, you've got some storage units. It's quite big actually, if you can see. Quite sizable storage unit. I quite like it. I'm not exactly sure what you would keep in there, but there are plenty of cute little storage units around this car. So for starters, the cup holders are here. There's one here. There is something of a holder here, and then in front here you've got an additional little ledge here that you can fit more stuff. I don't exactly know what these nubbins are for and what are they supposed to mount, but you definitely can put quite a lot of things there. And you've got a glove compartment as well, and you've got another cup holder right there. What I find really cute is that these are actually your door handles right up here, and if you really wanted to, you could store some little bits of things up there, you know, if you were so inclined to. One thing I find particularly funny though is that down here in the door bins, you've got a little bottle holder that has the marking that actually tells you whether it's small, medium, and actually on the other side of on the passenger side, even goes all the way to large. So it's kind of cute because I think they've kind of taken the effort to do something different, but at the same time, who really needs your car to tell you what size bottle you are carrying? Unless of course you're measuring something else, but let's not go there. We digress. Let's get back on track. Okay, in the middle here you've got the infotainment unit. This is touchscreen. Yes, it's touchscreen, and I think this one actually looks a lot better than the one that we found on the Corolla Cross. I'm not sure why, but this one, at least the bezel is a lot thinner. It looks a bit more modern, and I think the base graphics are also a little bit more, yeah, definitely more modern, because at least these take the form of like widgets. They are like, it's presented like a widget, whereas the ones in the Corolla Cross just seemed a bit different. Yeah. Well, good to know that the infotainment units on this look a little bit better. Below this, you have your air conditioning controls. So pretty straightforward stuff. It is a single zone climate control. So you've got the temperature on the right side and the fan speed on the left side. Everything else is pretty standard. And then of course down here you've got your drive selectors with your EV mode and your drive mode. Drive mode, you have, let's see, what drive modes you have? Eco, Power, and Normal. So pretty standard. Around the front of the cabin, I think one of the things that's really cool is the fact that there isn't really a center console, as you can see here. And then what I really enjoy about it is that you could actually sort of fit your bag here. And then, you know, it makes it really easy to grab stuff out of your bag as well. And interestingly, and I've seen other people do this as well, but maybe I'm a little bit larger, so I'm going to attempt this cautiously. But because there is a gap, you can actually climb to the back. Let's try it, let's try. I'm a little bit large, so I will have to see if I can do this. There we go. So thank goodness you weren't able to see how unglamorous that was, but nonetheless, you can see the absence of the center console has actually created some sort of an alleyway in the middle, and honestly you could actually quite conveniently jump into the back. And I know what some of you are thinking, like why the hell would you want to jump into the back, right? But the truth is, sometimes, if let's say you are carrying, say, a infant in an infant child seat at the back of the car and you are driving alone, and let's say the kid requires some attention, it is actually a very useful feature that you could just hop out of your park safely, of course, hop out of your driver's seat, run to the back through the alleyway and attend to your child. It really does make a difference. So I think this is pretty cool. Okay. Now, so alright, so this driver's seat is more or less in my regular driving position. I did move it slightly back just now when I was trying to climb out, but it is actually more or less at my driving position. I am 175 meters tall, and here is the leg room that I have. So not a whole ton of leg room, but it is a compact MPV lah, and it has a third row, mind you. So let's be a bit understanding there. I think it all makes a lot of sense, right? So not a huge ton of leg room, but enough for an adult, definitely, and definitely enough for kids and toddlers and ladies actually. At the back here, you have some little pockets for you to store stuff, little knickknacks. I don't know, maybe cosmetics, maybe a little bit of lip balm, maybe your headphones. Or actually, you could probably slot your phone in as well. You know, support your phone here. And you have USB-C points over here. Although I don't know why, only the passenger behind the driver gets it. But I'm sure it is cost related, so let's not overanalyze it. Okay, at the back here, you've got a sliding door that is automatic, and actually in the Sienta Hybrid, what you get is dual automatic power sliding doors, which is actually very cool, because I from what I understand, some of the compact MPVs in the market only come with automatic sliding doors on the left side, on the passenger side, and this is of course to support the embarking and disembarking of passengers, whereas the one on the driver's side is usually manually powered. There's no automatic sliding door. So I'm going to show that to you. So you just need to, and you are open. Similarly to close, just need to slide it in. And of course, this is all controllable from the driver's side as well. If you can see where my finger is pointing, these are all the sliding door controls that you can control. Very cool. Once again, I think many of you consumers are actually not used to the idea of using MPV anymore, but I must say that sliding power doors are actually really useful, especially if you are dealing with kids in your car, because parking spaces are getting tighter, and the power sliding doors really help to ensure that your kids don't dink somebody else's like Rolls Royce or something and then you get into trouble. Alright, another thing that really tells you that this car is family oriented is the fact that it has built-in sunshades. Now, if you look at the market, most cars that have this type of feature will be very high-end Continental cars. Like in the past, you would need to have, okay, not very high-end, but you would need to buy at least like an A4, Audi A4 before you get stuff like that, you know? So like A4 with 3 Series, 5 Series, I think maybe even the 3 Series doesn't have these sort of features, but in a Sienta, obviously this becomes a priority because you're carrying a family, and I think that's really nice. So yes, I think aside from being very practical, the car actually also looks a lot better than before. So I think that's an awesome job. Great job, Toyota. And let's go take a drive in the car now and see how the car feels. Let's go. Alright, so to get things out of the way, I think obviously the Sienta Hybrid isn't a car that's built for performance, and in fact it's probably one of the most practical cars on the market, in the sense where this is a Cat A spec car, which means you save on upfront costs in terms of paying for COE. It's also very economical, and currently now what I have on the efficiency rating, the average rating is actually almost 20 kilometers per litre, I believe that the Sienta Hybrid should be able to do a bit better than that. This is just purely because it's a test car that's been driven by quite a lot of people. So naturally, with the different driving styles, I think the fuel economy rating has suffered a little bit. So I'm estimating that this car should be able to do somewhere in the low 20 plus kilometers per litre kind of range, which is actually really good. I think that will be very pleasing for all those people who are purchasing the car as a very practical family car and don't want to have too much running costs in terms of fuel costs. So that's really good. And this Sienta Hybrid is also probably one of the cheapest or most affordable ways where you can carry 6 to 7 people in the car. You know, obviously it's sort of like a mini compact MPV. I think that works very well in Singapore. For some reason, Singapore seems to be like one of the last strongholds for MPVs. I mean, all around the world, MPVs have been decreasing in popularity, but apparently in Singapore, you know, we're still pretty fond of the MPVs. And personally, I kind of understand why. There's this real nice appeal to kind of driving a car that you know works really well for your family. It's like you're doing something nice for your family and not just for yourself as a driver. But in any case, I think the primary focus of purchasing a car like that is obviously, like I said, you know, fuel economy and practicality. But I'm quite happy to say that despite that being the focus, I think the Sienta Hybrid still drives better than its predecessor. So I think in the predecessor, power felt like it was a little bit hard to come by. The car actually really felt quite sluggish. But in this Sienta Hybrid model, I must say that the hybrid drivetrain has done an excellent job in assisting with the petrol engine to produce a much more lively drive. So, I mean, the car is not quick by any means, but it is fairly lively. It feels very ready to go. Later on, once the traffic light turns green, I'll show you what I mean. The car actually moves off the line very well, very comfortably. It is probably only in the higher speeds that maybe you don't find so much torque remaining in the car. But definitely around town, this drive is a huge improvement from its predecessor. It's a lot nicer to drive than the version before this. So now let's wait for the lights. So it's kind of nice as well, right? Because you know that the hybrid drivetrain, or you know, that you're paying for, and obviously, you know, hybrid cars do cost a little bit more to buy than just straight out petrol powered cars. So there is a little bit of price increase with a hybrid. In any case, in Singapore right now, the only Sienta you can buy is a hybrid, so there's no comparison there. But at least you know that the money that goes into purchasing a hybrid drivetrain is not just, you know, supporting you in terms of getting better fuel economy, but it also provides you a much better drive than if the car were to go without. So it moves off very comfortably. Of course, being a CVT, there's still some drone, and that's to be expected. But around town, I must say that there's really not much to complain about. You know, it moves off the line very comfortably. Hybrid drivetrain supports the system very well, and you know, like what I always say about Toyota hybrid systems, I think they are one of the best in the market. Not just in terms of achieving very good fuel economy, but also in the way where the engine cuts in and out very seamlessly. And honestly, sometimes you don't even really know whether or not the car is currently running on full petrol power, a combination of both. Obviously, if it's in EV mode, you will know lah, because that suddenly makes the car really smooth and nice to drive. But yes, to sum it all up, I think this is a really, like, obviously this is going to be a car for a very niche market in a sense. Not everybody wants an MPV, and not everybody wants a compact MPV. But for those who are actually looking for the most cost-effective way of carrying the most number of passengers and they want a car that is really going to be extremely practical, both in terms of size and fuel economy, I think it's hard to beat a car like the Sienta Hybrid because it does, you know, have all that in place for you. Alright, so if you found this review useful in any way and you enjoyed this review, please remember to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. If you've got any questions about the Sienta Hybrid that you want to ask and I haven't covered for some reason, please put them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And yeah, we've got new reviews coming out every single week, so it'll be really great if you could subscribe, get yourself notified, and then, you know, you can join us for those as well. If not, please take care of yourself, stay safe, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.